Exhortation. Focusing specifically on Helvidius 1 and Federalist number 10 allows us to examine how James Madison employed rhetorical strategies that can be paralleled to Calvinistic rhetoric during the First Great Awakening in these two distinct essays. For number 1, appeal to a higher authority. In Federalist number 10, Madison appeals to the principles of Republican government and the empirical evidence of history to advocate for a large republic's ability to control factions. This aligns with the Calvinistic approach of grounding arguments of a higher, unassailable authority, in their case, divine or scriptural. Helvidius number 1, Madison appeals to the Constitution as the ultimate authority in the separation of powers, especially in refuting claims about presidential powers in foreign affairs. This mirrors the Calvinistic emphasis on strict adherence to scriptural commands and doctrines. Number 2 is moral urgency and certainty. Federalist number 10. The urgency is on preventing the tyranny of majority factions and the consequent threat to rights and interests, invoking a moral duty to protect individual freedoms and promote the common good, similar to Calvinist preachers stressing the urgency of salvation and moral reform. Helvidius 1, Madison warns the dangers of executive overreach, arguing that it threatens the foundational democratic principles established by the Constitution. This is akin to Calvinist warnings against moral decay and the necessity of constant vigilance in spiritual matters. Number 3, a call to action. In Federalist 10, Madison's argument is designed to persuade the states to ratify the Constitution, effectively calling his audience to take a political action to safeguard their liberties, paralleling how Calvinist preachers called their congregations to repent and reform. In Helvidius 1, Madison exhorts the readers to resist encroachments on the powers vested in the legislature, advocating for active participation in maintaining checks and balances, similar to the Calvinist emphasis on the active role of believers in upholding church discipline and doctrinal purity. Number 4, community and common welfare. In Federalist number 10, Madison promotes the idea of a larger republic as beneficial in its diversity, which would help manage the effects of factions and promote the welfare of the broader community, a concept resonant with the Calvinist focus on community and in resisting sin and maintaining moral order. In Helvidius 1, the focus on the protection of democratic principles that serve the entire nation, reflecting a concern for the common good that aligns with the Calvinist communal ethic of mutual care and oversight. These comparisons illustrate how Madison in both essays employs rhetorical techniques that, while secular and politically oriented, share key similarities with the religious rhetoric of Calvinist preachers from the First Great Awakening. Both types of rhetoric employ a higher authority, emphasize moral urgencies, call their respective audiences to action, and underline the importance of community for achieving a greater common good.